What's your favorite trap? Let me show you mine. This is JB with Going Wild. The Ace of Spades trap, how to make one. Let me zoom in here so I can show you. Kind of. Okay, I've got a larger stick here, so maybe it'll show up better on camera. First cut we want to make is a type 1. First we need to saw off the end. We want a straighter end than that right there. It's kind of got a, so I'm going to saw straight down right there. Although I'm in the shop here, in the workshop, I'm going to use the Leatherman tool for the whole thing. I always hold it secure as possible. Keep it from moving around on you. Let the saw do the work. There we go. Got a nice end. And there's got my little cut stick here. I used it. We're creating a type 1 cut here. I use this as a teaching tool. This has different basic cuts on it. We're going to use type 1 and type 2 in this trap here. Number 1, number 2. Just to simplify. I've heard them all called different names, so I'll do 1 and 2 just to keep it simple. Switch blades here. So I'm going to pick a direction. Just kind of take some off. You can see I've kind of braced my thumbs together there, pushing with this thumb a lot. I came up with 1, 2, 3 from my making figure 4 traps. I used to teach a lot of figure 4 traps, and that's just the order I use for making them. It's kind of a thick stick, so. And now I'll come back from the opposite side. Put my thumb on the side I want to cut. It's a nice stout stick. Maple or hickory. Got a lot of oak trees in the yard, but I don't think it's oak. You can lock it in under your arm there. Get more power cuts. Till I get where I need to be. And I want to keep this fairly straight. You can see right there, got like a little edge building up, a little catch. And figure 4s, this is where it would balance. And in this trap, this is where we're going to create a catch. So that should be good enough. Okay, now coming up the same stick, probably 6 inches or so, depending on the size of the trap. This one's oversized. It's still usable, but just for demonstration. We're going to create a type 2 cut. We've got that right here. The best way to cut that is to saw down, not quite halfway, maybe a third of the way through the stick, and then chip it out. So I'm going to switch to my saw again. And maybe 6 inches or so up. I have to be exact. Saw in. Put my thumb on the side that needs cut, making sure that I've got my number 1 there, number 1 cut, and just kind of chip it out. You can see that creates a stop there. It doesn't have to be too deep, just enough so our trigger stick can catch. I'll straighten it out a little bit. There we go. Good enough. Okay. Now the bait stick. Create a bait stick here. We're going to create right in the bottom here a type 2 cut, what we already did here, right towards the bottom there. So I've got my saw. I'll hold this so it doesn't move a little bit. Try to keep it steady. Right on the bottom, maybe ½ inch from the bottom. And only about a third of the way through the stick. Not quite halfway. Just enough to catch. And you don't want them to lock in too good. They trigger easier if they're not so deep. And we'll take and chip it out. And you can test it. Make sure it locks in here just a little bit. Like I said, you don't want it too good. And we'll go a little deeper. Might make this a little thinner also. It's important when you're making traps to realize you're putting your scent all over them when you're making them. So animals won't come near it. Animals are afraid of fire, but they're used to the smell of smoke. They're not afraid of it. And so you can smoke your traps over a fire. Takes a lot of the scent off, kind of covers our scent pretty well, smoke. Okay, so I'm going to check, make sure it locks in a little bit. That's better. You can see it kind of locks in just a little better. Or this way. Locks in a little better. There we go. Okay, I've got my type 2 cut there. Now I want to come straight across from here, create a little spot nick that tells me where I need to make my other cut. Don't have to be exact. You can lay it down, make it a little easier. Come straight across roughly and put a little mark. And I want to go on the same side as this. So I'll put my thumb on that side. I'm going to switch blades real quick again to the saw. Love my Leatherman tool. Take it out in the field. I feel naked without it. Find my little mark. Got my thumb on the side that needs to be cut here. Thumb up. Hold it on the end so I don't create a bind. Let the saw do the work. Nice and slow. And it doesn't have to be deep. Third of the way through, about roughly. I'm going to thumbs on the side I need. I'm going to chip it out. And I want about I guess about a 45-degree angle. Now I'm going to create a small, I'm going to cut this roughly the angle here. See, so you can see there. So this is there, backwards. And I'll create a stick that goes across here. So roughly about there. So I'm going to cut off a little piece of this. Don't have to be exact. Let's all do the work. Don't want to try to force it too much. Down is starting to catch a little bit. And it doesn't have to be too pretty. I'll go ahead and start on the side, cut that off. Now I'm going to come through here. You can flatten these, but usually I'll come through and split it. I'm going to take this knife, kind of hold it right about there. Take a mallet, if I can do it without Knocking the camera over here. Nice. And you see I've got 2 triggers now. Just gonna straighten these up. And they'll fit right in here. Thin this one out a little bit so it fits in a little easier. Get my knife out. Knife blade. You can see it's a little wobbly because of the split. But it's alright. I can even it out. And just the ends need to be flat so it catches. Pretty easy trap to make, really. Really, we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts. Then make a little trigger. You see right there. And it'll kind of fit on the tree just like that right there. And I usually make a point on here just to show it's the bait stick. So you can stick your bait on it. And when you stick bait on it, it's a good idea to tie the bait onto it. If you're going after a coyote, this is a great trap for that, or for raccoon, or for possum. Great for those. You could get nutria with this trap pretty easily. You want to study the habits of the animals that you're trapping. Find out what they like to eat. I know raccoons and possums, they love sweet fruit type apples, bananas. Coyote, they like meat, offal, which is intestines, guts, parts of the rabbit or whatever you don't want to eat. Okay, let's go out and tie it to a tree. Show you how to put it up, set it. Okay, I've got my base of my trap tied onto the tree here using natural cordage. Blends in a little better. Then I have to be perfect. Tuck this back. Keep it out of the way. And you can use a variety of knots. I think I use trucker's hitches on these. A couple of half hitches to secure it. You can look those up on the knot library. And I've got this tied or directly under a large limb, which is pretty high. On my weight here, I've got a couple of bowline knots tied, just kind of balance it out. And I've got another piece of 550 cord thrown over the limb there. Okay, to set it, I'm going to lift the log here. And you could balance the log here and have it above the trap, and then when it triggers it falls. But this log's not that heavy, and so I'm going to use the whole weight of the log. Just going to kind of balance it there. Tie it on with a bowline. You see I'm holding it to the tree here. Tie a bowline. You can learn a bowline on the knot library. And I'm just going to hold that towards balanced. above my trap there. You can see it hanging right there. I'm going to take this time to tie a loop that doesn't slip. I could use another bow line. This time I think I'm going to use a figure 8 on a bite, just for a different knot. Also in the knot library. This is the hard part. Got my bait, my trigger mechanism. I'm going to stick that inside my figure 8 knot and hold tension there. Got my bait stick here. Spread these out a little bit so it's a little more balanced. And you could hang it lower, just above the trap if you want. But I like for it to hang pretty high. It takes another fraction of a second, I guess, for it to hit, to come down. But you see I got it in place there. You can zoom in. We've got to watch your head on this one. Put this in place. I'm going to get my head out of the way. And I'm going to move. You can see here, stick. Got the weight hanging above. Enough weight. You want at least 5 to 10 times the weight of the animal you're after. Now I've got it to where it's hanging just above the trap. Bait's tied on. You don't want to just stick it on. You want to actually tie it on if you can. Make some cordage. And you can set a 550 cord, which I use it for my boot laces. But you can also make natural cordage that'll hold that log. And the animal comes, takes the bait, and squish. This is JB, reminding you that traps they kill whatever triggers it. Indiscriminate, I guess it's called. Be very careful. Don't set them to where any animals, such as strays, dogs, people's pets, or anything like that can trigger it. Use them in emergency situations when you need food and there aren't people around, because it will injure a person as much as an animal. This is JB reminding you to be safe and get outside and go wild.